I told her ride it like a rental, it's just a rental. I'm not with all the sentimentals, just keep it simple. You wanna know what I'm into, so you can get into it. I ain't trying to.
Welcome. The boys are back. Bench buddies are back. Today we're going to be doing an MLB tier list.
How's it going, everybody?
We're going to have the World Series contenders, the playoffs in the hunt, a few years away, and a rebuild. But first, before we get into that, we got to plug our content a little bit. We just dropped 2 new vids.
Go check them out.
Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet.
Me and Zach are getting these videos done, man. We're grinding.
Yep. We just put them out as soon as we do them. We try to get them out as soon as possible. So, I think, Ethan, you want to start with the first team in the AL East here, and here we go.
All right, so with the Baltimore Orioles, I think that I'm saying they're in a rebuild, but they have the prospects. They're looking a lot better than I thought. They've been playing good baseball. They got prospects, so next year I could say that they'd be in a few years away, and they're on the right track right now.
All right, I'll go Red Sox here. Right now they're playing some good baseball. They're a wild card team. For me, I can see them as a World Series contender, but they're not winning the division just yet, so I'm gonna just leave them in the playoffs.
How about them though? They're scoring 20. They're up 20-1 right now on the Rays.
Really?
So that's a big divisional series. Yep. But it's good to see them get hot again. But now I'll go with the Yankees. I think they are a playoff team as well. They're in the same category as the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox are a little bit higher, but I like where the Yankees are at with Rizzo and Gallo. If you don't like Gallo, you're just an old head. Gallo's a great player, man. If you care that much about the strikeouts, then I don't know.
Hey, he goes on the field and does one job. He plays defense and hits home runs. That's all he's up there for.
And he's fast too. So I mean, he's basically he's not a 5-tool player, but his walks are up there too. So yeah.
All right, we'll go with Tampa. You got to say World Series contender based off of last year, and them running it back almost essentially with the same roster.
Yeah, they always win. They just always win baseball games. It's crazy. Their manager.
They aren't the best team in baseball. No, you can definitely say that. But for some reason, they're like the most fundamentally sound team in baseball, where they just put it together. I mean, tonight, obviously, they're getting blown out, but everyone has an off night in baseball. But I think I got to put Tampa up there just through respect for last year and what they went through last year. So Toronto, this is a big one.
All right. I could put them. I'm thinking in the hunt or in the playoffs. I'm gonna go playoffs.
Okay.
I think they're in that tier. They're in between. If there was an in between, I'd go with that. But I think the Blue Jays being that division deserve to be up there because of their strength of schedule. So I love the Blue Jays.
For sure. If you put the Blue Jays in like the AL Central, what we're gonna do next, like Blue Jays would easily have 10 more wins for sure.
I saw that they'd be Toronto if they were in the NL East. They'd be in first place. I saw that on Instagram this morning.
So we'll go to the AL Central. We'll start with your White Sox.
What do you think?
Where are they going? I mean, right now they're playing like a playoff team.
Right. So that's what we're doing.
Just because they're in the AL Central, someone's got to make playoffs out of that division. And obviously the White Sox are a big game ahead or a big lead ahead. So you just got to plug them in already.
Absolutely. So
this is a tough one because, Indians got rid of Lindor. And I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
They're right around 500 right now, but I think they're probably I think they're going to be in a few years away, but thinking a few years
I just want to say they're in the hunt just because it's the AL Central. Because they could play the Royals and Twins in a week and then win 7 in a row, you know, and then just be right back in it. Just because they're in a division, I'll put them there. But yeah, I agree. They're definitely, they could either be in the hunt or a few years away.
They got some prospects too. So,
all right, I'll talk about my Tigers here. as much as it pains me, they are a few years away yet. But they got lots of good prospects coming up. Prospects are playing well this year. And if they sign some vets along the way that can help them out to get to that in the hunt playoff caliber, I think they could do it next year. But I'm gonna slow my roll and just see how this season pans out.
With the Royals, I think they are in a rebuild. I believe they're playing good, but every team gets hot at some point and starts winning games. I think they could be good, but I feel like they're more in a category with the Orioles than with the Tigers. But they got a lot of stuff coming up. Bobby Witt's going to be a stud. So
I mean, I feel like I got to put the Twins in there too.
Yeah.
Just because they got a lot of young guys that are playing this year.
Austin Martin, they just got him for Berrios. So and
so they got lots of prospects in the system, that's for sure.
Yeah. They got a lot back this year. I thought they did pretty good for the deadline.
For sure.
Plus Buxton coming back. Never know.
Buxton, yeah. I mean, depends if they trade him or keep him, Depends on what he does. So we'll go into the AL West here. Houston. I'm putting them up here.
Yep.
I mean, they're getting it done this year, that's for sure. And no one's really talking about them because people are still thinking they're cheating, banging on them trash cans. But
they're just good.
They're just good hitters. I mean, the rotation, if it's healthy, if they all can be healthy, this rotation is a top 5 rotation this year. It just they haven't all been piecing it together to be healthy enough to, I guess, get the respect they deserve. But
they beefed with their bullpen too, so I like what they did too at the deadline. All right, so the Angels, I think they're a few years away.
I agree.
A few years away because I mean, if you look at that team without injuries this year, I'm looking at a playoff team. But the thing is, they'd be like a Reds. I feel like they'd be a comparison to the Reds, with their offense would be loaded with Rendon, Walsh, Trout, obviously, Ohtani. I mean, Joe Adele. That's a
David Fletcher. Sometimes,
Yeah, they'd be loaded, but it's just that they don't really have much pitching. They did bring up their top pitching prospect, so they could be a few years away, especially with that offense. So
Oakland, I mean, they're a playoff team. They're in the playoffs, second wild card right now. Another team, Moneyball. Big fan of Oakland just because what they can do. They're not they don't have a really, I don't know how to say it. I guess they're not the best in one category. I guess they're just a good team that knows how to win, just like the Rays, I would say. They find ways to win games.
They have a lot of comparisons for sure. The Mariners, I'm putting them in the hunt. They've been the surprise team out of the AL West this year. When they are saying right around 500, they could make a push. The AL wild card's loaded, so I'm not predicting them in the playoffs. But man, you got to respect what they've been doing this year.
And then Texas, I mean, instant rebuild. Like,
yeah, this is the worst.
It's going to be a while. That's all you need to know about Texas. I mean, their only bright spot this year was Kyle Gibson, and then traded him.
Adolis Garcia too.
Garcia's been good. He's been good. But we'll just move on. Right? Yep, that'll be it for the AL. So now we'll move on to the NL, and we'll start with the Acuna-less Braves.
Been winning games. I think they are. Man, I mean, if we're going in the categories, they got to be in the hunt category. But because of the NL East, I think they could win the division. I know the Phillies, Mets got a big win yesterday. So, I mean, that's going to be a good division, and I like the Braves offense a lot. Marlins,
Miami, rebuild for sure.
Rebuild.
Trevor Rogers this year has been a bright spot. He's kind of been the only person.
I mean, Pablo Lopez before he went down.
True. So the rotation is young. Sixto. They don't even have Sixto this year.
Yeah.
So the rotation could be there in the future. It's just a matter of if Jazz Chisholm can hit, and all the young guys that they've got back in trades can pan out for them.
Lewis Brinson's been looking good lately. He's a top guy.
So the Mets,
I think you put him in the category with the Braves in the hunt.
I agree.
That's the way you got to put them. I mean, if the DeGrom comes back, they'll be better. Baez, Lindor, so they have a lot of injuries, but they haven't had offense even when they had Lindor in the lineup. They always had trouble scoring runs. They scored 8 yesterday though, so maybe it's turning the ship a little bit.
All right, Philly. I think you got to put them as a playoff team.
Yeah,
I mean, right now,
I feel like they're in between these two in the hunt and playoffs. So
yeah, I mean,
way.
as of now, I mean, because they're winning the division, we'll put them in as the playoffs.
It's crazy. Could in 2 days we could be talking a completely different discussion because they're playing the Dodgers and Braves and Mets are still creeping up there. So anything could happen.
Nationals, that's a rebuild after this year's trade deadline.
It's a rebuild, but it's also a few years away because they did get some prospects. So as of right now, they are a rebuild, but you're rebuilding around the best hitter in baseball. It's a hot take, but he's the best hitter in baseball. Juan Soto, best hitter in baseball.
Oh, so, I think the viewers heard that. But just in case they didn't, you want to say it one more time?
Juan Soto is the best hitter in the league. Straight hitter. All right.
We'll go to the Central Cubs.
My boy AP.
Yeah.
This is for you.
Shout out to Andy Pulaski for being at the disaster of a game tonight.
Yes.
But Cubs
7 in the first
boys too. So I think they are a few years away because the trades that they after trading Baez, Bryant, Rizzo, Kimbrel, they got some good guys back in that trade. Nick Madrigal, I know he's been hurt this year, but he's gonna be a stud. I think great contact hitter, great fielder, can do it all for the Cubs. Just another plug and play guy. And then it's all gonna come down to if the young guys can perform. Azole, however you say his name. He's been performing. He's up and down this year. He's shown flashes of he can be a number one in the future. And then he's also shown flashes of he needs to pitch out of the bullpen. So it's really going to come down to how the prospects plan out next year and the year after.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going with just the records, I'm saying the Cubs are in a rebuild, but I can see those prospects turn out good. So with the Reds, I'm going to say they're in the hunt for sure. Their offense, we talked about them yesterday. Their offense is crazy, but they don't have a bullpen. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to compete with the Brewers, but they can do it. It's possible. I'm not going to rule them out, but obviously now get to the Brewers. I think they're a playoff team.
Really?
Or they're like really up there with the World Series contenders, though.
Really? I mean, I think it's just playoff because I guess the Brewers haven't really been to a World Series in a while.
Yeah.
So I need to see them win a few series, I guess, to get there to really believe they'll be a contender. But obviously winning the division, they probably pretty much almost got that on locks, I'd say, if Cincinnati keeps playing how they are. I mean, they're hot, they're streaky, but Milwaukee's been more consistent.
And yeah, I could see any of these teams that's how good the MLB's been this year. I could see the Red Sox or the Yankees, Red Sox, Yankees, White Sox, or Brewers winning it from the playoff category too. So, I mean, there's a lot of teams.
And then we'll jump right into Pittsburgh. I mean, that's a rebuild. I mean, not much to be said about them as they're not really having a positive year this year. Injuries haven't helped, and then trading away a few guys at the deadline just to get something for them. So we'll go St. Louis.
I mean,
I think I got to put them here just because
it's like they're weird. They're not in a rebuild.
They'd be like a category of disappointment.
Yeah, they're a disappointing team this year, but
like they have great pitching, great hitting. They just
with Flaherty
put it together.
Flaherty was there, but he's been injured. I mean, they just haven't been winning baseball games. I don't understand.
So we'll go to the last division, the NL West.
This is obvious.
Considering they have the worst record in baseball, you got to put them in a rebuild.
Yep. Nothing else.
I honestly don't even know who's on the team.
Ketel Marte, and that's about it. They traded away Escobar. I didn't think they got too much back for him, though. So I don't know about that's just now. This is the worst front office in baseball here with the Rockies. They're in a rebuild for sure. Now they do win games at home, but you got Trevor Story. you got all these guys, you got Herman Marquez, and you don't move him at the deadline. Like, I don't understand what they're doing, especially on Story's last year of his contract. Like,
Yeah. I
come on,
mean,
they're not
maybe
gonna.
they're
He's
hoping to
just walking
re-sign
anyway.
him. I don't know, but I don't know. I can't tell you. I
Not
don't
looking
know
good.
what goes on in the mind of that
And
GM.
that
But
gets us, to the Dodgers, and obviously they're a
Dodgers, right
World Series
there.
contender. Mookie Betts just landed on the IL though, so hopefully he gets back
hmm
soon.
I mean, after that trade deadline, you got to instantly put them as a contender. On paper now, they have to be the favorites.
And Bellinger's
I
getting
know they're
hot a
not
little
winning the
bit. He's
division
showing
yet,
signs.
but just because of all the talent, like they have to win. I mean, it just wouldn't make sense if they didn't win.
Right. Yep, I
Uh,
agree.
so we'll go to San Diego, and I think you got to put them in a contender. Um, they really haven't all played together as a collective unit. Um, you know, Tatis has been hurt twice now. He's still on the IL. Machado's been so. Like he's had his moments, and then obviously trading for Adam Frazier was huge. That gets them a bat in the lineup that's consistent. So that's why I put them in there, just because of Adam Frazier. That was a huge deal, in my opinion.
Right.
And then
Right.
lastly, we'll go to the Giants. What do you have to say about those
I
boys?
think they got to be a contender too as well. I mean, look at that NL West.
Mm-hmm.
Stacked.
Really
Yeah.
representing.
They're gonna be. I mean, I'd like to put them in the playoffs as much as I could, as much as I'd like to. I just can't because they've consistently been the best team all year, and it's hard to. I mean, they're just winning games, so they might not be as
Mm-hmm.
stacked, but I'm excited to see that Giants Dodgers. Man, that rivalry's back.
Yep. I'm just glad that that Chris Bryant went somewhere where he's gonna be welcomed and embraced really well. San Francisco is a great spot for him. He's from Vegas, so around the area, I guess you could say. But that's just a great, I'd say, fit because of first, third outfield in San Francisco. Didn't really have anyone that was excellent besides Yastrzemski in the outfield. So Bryant was a huge boost to all of those positions, and I don't know. I just think they could really do it this year. So that's my take, but
Yeah.
so that's it for the all 30 teams ranked from tiers. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Once again, sub down below, comment, do what y'all do.
Like it up, everything.
Yep,
We
like
appreciate
it
the
up.
support.
Yep. But so next video we're gonna be probably talking about jumping in a little NFL action. The season heats up in a little bit. Preseason games are starting this weekend, so
We'll get right
maybe
to
a little
it. That's gonna be a good one too.
Yep. Reactions, overreactions. I don't know. We'll see. But for sure we'll be getting some NFL and maybe a little college football content out there as well. Maybe a little summer league action. Who knows? But just stay posted. We'll provide updates for sure. And thanks for watching.
Work out for me.